Hi everyone, it's Lisa. Thanks for joining me today. I've been on a LeMoyne Star kick, and I want to show you a few things that I've been working on. This quilt is going to be for my son, and I'm essentially doing LeMoyne Stars that will have alternating blocks of this beautiful Timeless Treasure Soho sail and white. So I'll be doing alternating blocks in my layout. The blocks themselves are LeMoyne Stars, and I'm using a scrappy construction method, if you will, to do these stars. So this particular configuration is a split star, and it's split between two 1.5 inch cut diamond strips. So this strip and this strip were 1.5 inches, and I cut them at 1.5, and then I affixed them to a 1.5. The two together, with the seam allowances, yield a 2.5 inch star. So it's really been fun to play with this fabric, and I want to let you know a couple of things about the fabric that you see here. First off, I approach quilting as I do everything else in my life. I like to buy the highest quality that I can at the cheapest price I can find. And I actually like to buy fabric without really something in mind. And I'm sure that is bristling to many of you, and that's okay. This is just my way of doing things. And then I feel like my creative goal with my, find, my huge value find, is to construct something that is beautiful. So, for example, each of the three fabrics that you see here are premium quality quilting fabric, but I paid $3.99 a yard for it. This is a Timeless Treasures Soho and Sail. It's so beautiful. It actually goes with so many fabrics that I already had in hand, to include this fabric here. I don't recall the name of it, which I also paid $3.99 for, and this August Wren Madras Plaid that I paid $3.99 for. Now, granted, I had to buy 15 yards of each of these, but this I use on the back of quilts, so 15 yards doesn't go very far. So either baby quilts or other quilts. My Flutterby quilt will sport this Madras Plaid. It has all the colors that are in my Flutterby. This particular color here, the black with the chameleon type of gray stripes, this will go with so many things. So I'm not concerned about this. And this Soho sail goes with my William Morris prints, my nature jelly roll strips that I bought. So I am able to complete that quilt with using this as a companion fabric. Again, it's an investment for me, but I know that I will use every bit of this fabric, and this fabric. I had been struggling to figure out what kind of quilt to make for my son. He likes blues, and I have several fabrics that will meet that demand for color, as well as harmonizing well within what I have here. So I just want to show you a few of the things that I've been working on then. So we've seen this, which I think is quite beautiful. This I just adore. And this is basically taking the same construction, except instead of doing a solid color here, I've got two matching plaids, and I'll do a tutorial for you on how I match these. Some of them are not matched great, but some of them are, and I'm going to show you how to do it perfectly every time. So until I perfected my method, I have a few of these, but no one is ever going to notice or judge me on that. This is not for a quilt. It's for my son, and he would never even notice that. But the point is, we should have our techniques so that we know that we've got a great method, so that when we put things together, they look nice. Here's another rendition. This is Forced Fable, and also is a lovely complement into this star pattern. And here's the Forced Fable with as a companion for the split diamonds in a straight setting, and I think that's also quite pretty. One way to make less work, because I will tell you those compound diamonds are a lot of work, is to intersperse them with just solid diamonds, or maybe even split diamonds, which is easy to do, but you can still see that it yields a really lovely star. Except now that I look at this, I realize I put this on backwards. This should be in the middle. And you know what? I'm just going to leave it. It's a mistake, and I didn't notice it until just now when I'm showing it to you. Here's another example of some fabric that I had that is just perfect companion for this, and I got on sale. This is not a white, this is Kona silver. And here's another rendition. Now I'm going to show you some of the white background. I really love this a lot. I love the contrast, and I love how these colors pop. A little bit of this fabric goes a very long way, and you can see that. I got to make a lot of these. I've experimented with this green color, and I like it quite a bit, and I'm not going to have a lot of colors like this in my quilt, but I do like this very well. So this is what I call a split diamond. A true split diamond would be down the middle here, and frankly I have not made those. I probably will, but not for this quilt. So some of these are mirroring the darker pieces, but I think that it's really just so pleasing, and I just really love it. I just won't bore you with others because they're all kind of the same. So basically, here are some that I have not finished yet, and what I had to do is keep a tally sheet of the stars that I've made, and then the white and dark background, so I don't get off. But this is an example of where I probably wouldn't use this black diamond here. I would probably use it here, and maybe swap these colors. Again, a little bit of this is going a very long way. Here's another example of how pleasing this color is with yet another fabric in a very simple design to make a little bit less work. And this is Kona silver with the same fabric that we saw in the other block. And again, I think you would agree that that makes really quite a pretty block. And here's just yet another of the same. So this is what I've been working on. I also found some ugly fabric that I'm also going to use, but it's in the same kind of colorway, and I'm using Kona silver, and this is a batik, but it's got blues and greens in it, so it's going to look fine. But unless I put it in this quilt, I have no idea what use I would have for it. The other thing I wanted to show you is how to maybe get out of the painter's tape rut. And this is an example. This is my Creative Grids Diamond Dimensions ruler. And cutting diamonds, you have to be so accurate on it, as you well know. And what I did is I took a piece of template plastic and I cut it exactly a 1/2 inch wide. And I used 3M double-sided tape and put it on one side, and then, you know, lined it up and just put my ruler down. So it creates a beautiful ledge. I can still see through it, and I can easily move it. So if you're looking for other ways other than painter's tape, which is the oft-used method, I would suggest to you that template plastic and double-sided tape is a really nice alternative to using that method. Now, what you see here is a Teflon sheet. It's on top of my ironing board, and my ironing board is has a lovely linen cover on it that's really stained between starch and glue. So this is just simply a piece of cotton duck that I found at the thrift store. It was one side of one side of a pair of curtains. In this, I'd originally bought it to make a shopping bag out of, but I realized it would cover my ironing board, and it doesn't move. It's great. The purchase between this and the linen is fantastic. So I can work on this, get it dirty, and just pull it up, wash it, and put my other one on top of it, and I have a really great ironing pad. Another way you can make that last a little longer is use these wonderful fiberglass Teflon coated sheets. They're heat resistant. You can use them for baking, but I don't. They are not waterproof, so if you're doing, I mean, it's fine for glue, but if you're doing paint and stuff, it's going to go through this. But I love this stuff. But I found a product that I like even more, which is this white color, which has the advantage of you can see very easily through it. Now, I will suggest to you that your quilting will improve if you use this product, because it is a wonderful way to work as a pressing sheet. And again, if we're trying to get, and we are, perfect points, this is a perfect join. You know, pressing is so important, and I do not press my seams open. So this is a join with a just a flipped over seam. Now, what's important about this is that if you put your iron over a raised surface, and this is particularly so for garments, because there's many garments like wool that'll get a sheen on it from pressing. But if you put a pressing sheet over this, it does two things. Number one, it protects the fabric from your iron. Number two, it's conducting heat. And then number three, it really acts almost as a glide. When you move your hand or your iron over top of this, nothing is moving underneath. And that means that any of your bias in your block, and this block, because of the way you're cutting your diamonds, each side of the block is going to have a mixture of straight of grain and bias, which is different than if you're doing just a straight LeMoyne star. And the other thing that I like to do with this sheet is I like to cut it. And this is why I like to do that. If I'm just working with a small thing like this, I just put my iron on it, cover up what I'm trying to do, and it's small and it's easy to use. So I hope that you'll consider a couple of those pressing aids. And I will close with yet another, you won't, unless you have done any home improvement or drywall, you won't know what this is. But, you know, sewing tools are expensive. This is a drywall hawk. this is the flat side. This has a small raised side because the handle goes here, because you would hold it by the handle. You would grip the handle, you would put your drywall up here, and then you would use your blade scraper to grab the mud and put it wherever you're doing. But you can see that I MacGyvered this. I had one, and what it does is, again, if you are pressing your block, you know, taking your iron, pressing your block, you can simply then put, the mat is warm, put your block on, your drywall hawk on it. If you want, you can put a weight on it. Here's an antique iron. These are great in the sewing room. They make great ruler weights if you need one for the method of cutting that you use. I use this on my stripology ruler just to keep it from shifting. But you can just do that, let it cool, and then, you know, pull it out. So that's a couple of things that might make your quilting life easier. I'll be back next time to show you how I join these diamonds, and I'm hoping that I can tempt you to do two things. Number one, get Marty Michelle's ruler, and then number two, consider glue basting. I'll see you soon.